What's up, small fry?
What did you just call me?
I just called you small fry because you're short.
Listen up, you tuna-faced sardine. I am not a small fry.
What's up, geek burger?
What's up, dork blaster?
Nerd herder? Get out of my face, blue face.
Bring it, snot liquor.
I'm gonna play around, I'm gonna beat you up.
Let's go.
Take us to the wrestling room.
3:30, let's go, come on.
That's what I call radical.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, what's the Losers Club up to? That's rude, dude.
You know, that's whack.
I'd invite you two to my daddy's ski party up in the hills this weekend, but you're losers. You know, why do you always have to make fun of us? We're just high school students going to class.
Lame.
Real lame, dude.
Honey, tell Jason to knock it off. He's always picking on us looking.
Jason, again? You are such a jerk.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, you rock.
You're welcome.
Hey, Big Al, what are you doing?
Mr. Aikens put me in charge of stopping bullying, so I'm on the lookout.
Do you really think the binoculars are necessary?
Look, I don't tell you how to be pretty, so don't tell me how to do my job.
Okay, well, I'm just saying it might be...
Wait! Shh. You hear that?
No?
Library. Did you hear about that girl?
Yeah, who wore those nasty, like, shoes to homecoming?
Seriously, those things smell so bad!
Yeah, it smelled like an old lady's gym sock.
Oh my gosh! I heard you two talking. Knock it off.
Hey, midget, how's the weather down there? It's fine. Hey, Labrador, I'm talking to you. Man, you are little. Leave me alone, I'm just going to teach class. Does a 12-year-old seriously teach class? Not funny. Why don't you just be nice and leave me alone for once? We're crying out loud, Brian.
I'm never nice.
I am a teacher, you know that, right?
I don't care. Get ready for a pounding.
Ryan, don't lay a finger on Mr. Schmidt. Put him down right now.
Yeah! Thanks again, Andrea.
Anytime, Mr. Schmidt.
Hi. This is District News. I'm Mr. Schmidt.
I'm Joe McMahon.
And I'm Elysia.
I'm Edgar.
And I'm Scott.
We like to have fun at District News, and what you just watched was meant to be humorous. However, there's nothing humorous about the thousands of students each day who are afraid to go to school because of unnecessary harassment and bullying.
If you've ever been a victim of bullying, you know how emotionally painful it can be to experience. At District News, we decided to create 5 practical strategies you can use if you are being repeatedly taunted or teased.
Know the difference between bullying and teasing. If you can't tease someone without insulting them, don't do it. Also, don't assume when someone is trying to offend you. They may be trying to kid with you, and they might just be really bad at it.
Yeah, but if you have a problem with someone's words, try to handle it the appropriate way. You don't have to take the repeated insults, but you shouldn't have to resort to violence. You'll find that telling your adversary to go suck a rotten egg is more satisfying than punching them in the lower intestine.
If you don't feel like saying anything, tell an adult or teacher. It's their job to make sure the school is a safe place to learn, and they have to hold other students accountable. There's nothing cowardly about asking a teacher for help.
Keep your ears open and your eyes peeled. Bullying and constant harassment are things that can be easy to ignore, because no one wants to be a snitch. Be on the lookout for anything that seems suspicious and don't ignore it, which is easy to do.
Finally, call these bullies out. If you hear insults, taunting, or teasing in the hallway, don't let them get away with it. It's up to all of us to muster up the courage to stand up to these people. Peer pressure is often thought of as a negative concept, but it can also be productive. The greatest weapon we have to combat bullying is collectively holding these people accountable.
Today for our segment of Spotlight, we have the 3 middle school counselors, Dr. McCoy, Mrs. Ron, and Mr. Shadle. We're going to start off with Dr. McCloy. How prevalent would you say bullying is at the South Sioux Middle School?
I believe that bullying is prevalent at the middle school like it is across the country, across the state. We do believe it's there, and daily we take action against bullying at the middle school.
What kind of bullying would you say that is most frequent?
I would say that girls typically, and research will show, bully verbally, not wanting to be people's friends, making people pretty miserable. It can happen. And boys typically, and according to research, physically. That's how they bully each other, using physical force.
Right. Mrs. Ron, can you describe the difference between teasing or joking and bullying?
Well, I think the difference depends on the individual, and it depends on the day. You could tease someone one day and then do the same thing, same kid, different kid, doesn't matter, they take it as bullying. So my advice would be, don't do either.
Mr. Shadle, do you think the movie Bully was an accurate representation of the Siouxland area?
For that particular kid, yes. I think it was very clear, it was very well done. In fact, I forgot about this. This book is written exactly on the movie Bully. Do I think that kid's experience represents a typical middle school or teenager in Siouxland? No.
How many kids do you think go through that type of severe bullying?
Well, research, is really broad. They throw out great big figures, but if you saw the movie, I mean, that kid was very severely bullied, and in my experience, would be very few.
In the movie Bully, one of the principals said that boys will be boys. How do you respond to this statement?
Well, boys will be boys and girls will be girls. And there's very specific gender stereotypes that young men are raised with and young women are raised with. Dr. McCloy just talked about that. So it's all about how you respond to stuff. And our goal here would be to teach kids skills. If something's not working for you, most of the time it's because you don't know how to make it work for you. And so our goal would be to take, boys will be boys and girls will be girls. We got that part. So let's talk about what kind of skills they both need to put an end to bullying.
Mrs. Ron, how vital is it that you guys as counselors are here in the middle school?
I think it's pretty vital. Kids need a safe place to be, a place to process information. Could be a family problem, could be a home problem, could be a friend problem. They need a safe place to hang out, think, and problem solve.
Right. How much does bullying affect the students' learning?
Well, I think research would show that it's quite a bit. And it depends on it depends on the individual student. If you want it to affect you and to be a victim, it could really take learning and turn it upside down. If you're tough and you can move past it, it won't affect it that much. It depends on the kid.
Right. Dr. McCloy, what is the correct discipline for when a student's bullying?
For our middle school, SSC Middle School, it really depends on the situation. And, it depends on how many times we've seen that particular student that people say have been bullying them. And we try to get all the facts straight. It usually isn't a one-sided situation. Almost always it's not. But we do take it seriously, and we do take action, and there is discipline for all students that are bullying other students.
Mr. Shadle, some students think that the only way to get rid of a bully is to fight them. What would you say to these students?
Win the fight. If you're going to fight, you better win. But you got to also understand there's going to be some real problems with that because we don't like it. I think it's a stupid solution. I've talked to kids. We do a mediation here. And the first question I'm asking, how did the fight work out? And the answer is always the same. It didn't do one thing to solve the problem. So, the idea of fighting stupid. We probably laughed when I said win the fight. But fighting stupid because it just leads to more and more and more problems.
Right. If you were sent a student who's been accused of bullying, what do you say or do to make sure that the bullying doesn't happen again?
Well, the first thing we do is we try to get all the facts. You know, Ms. Ron talked about, you know, it's about what I said and how you feel about what I said. So we really have to start there. And then as we sort the facts out, mediation is always a great way to do it, because we sit down, we talk out the problem. Somebody needs some skills, somebody needs some strengths. And so when we're able to sit down and talk about it, then we know what everybody needs, and usually we can solve it. That's been our experience.
That's all we have for our Spotlight segment today. We want to thank the middle school counselors for coming and speaking with us.
Hi, I'm Alex Cleveland. I'm the new education reporter for District News, and we are here at Covington Elementary with Michelle Delperdang, who is the school's guidance counselor. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Al.
Okay, first question. What do you do here and what are your responsibilities?
I'm the counselor here at Covington. I have multiple roles here as the counselor. Two of the main jobs I would say would be individual counseling and then small group counseling.
And what is small group counseling?
Small group counseling, I work with a small group of kids on basically anything that they need to be successful at school. Many of those times it takes the role of like the social skills training for kids. Some kids just never have learned a certain skill, and so that's hurting their success at school. So we work on that together and then see if it, they can get back to class and do it.
It's understandable. How do you calm down a child with emotional issues?
Well, the first thing I think I would do, and most of our counselors do, is listen. They just need someone to listen to them. They need to know that someone's there on their side and there for just them. Listen and then also empathize with them. The best thing you can do is put yourself in this student's shoes. Most of us have been there at some time or another, or something like that. Just be there with them and know that you're listening. That's what they want.
Okay. How frequently do you see bullying here at Covington?
When it comes to the word bullying, I don't think that we see a great deal of actual bullying here at school. Bullying, if you define bullying, it's an imbalance of power. Someone's tall, someone's short, smaller. Someone's a fifth grader, someone's a first grader, things like that. But also, it has to do with repetitive. Someone's doing this to the child again and again, and if they're targeting that child, they're not being to a group. Yes, they're after that one. And there are times you do see that. A majority of the time, though, what it is just it's a conflict between kids. And what we need to do is we talk through it. We see, okay, what happened? Is this happening all the time? Are they doing it just to you? Because I just don't think it's always bullying, per se. They just need other skills.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how often do you have to counsel a young person who's been bullied?
Well, if they've been bullied, and like I just defined, I always will work with them. It's a given that I will then have them, the person that has bullied, the person that was bullied, both, just to work on what happened and how we can make it better.
Okay. Are you aware of the movie Bully?
Yes, I did see the movie Bully. It's extremely sad movie. I think that's definitely the reason why bullying has come to the forefront. I think that movie started us really looking at it.
That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. And I hear that you graduated from East High. Did you notice a lot of bullying there? And do you think it's bully is the actual representation of this area?
When I saw the movie, I saw the movie, and I know that some of it was right over in Sioux City. And when I thought of it, I thought, I didn't think we have it quite like that. I think they showed some of the absolute worst examples of it, which they're out there. But I don't see that as much here, especially down here in the elementary, world. But then again, I think we've done a lot since that movie came out too. We made a lot of changes.
What's a good way to handle bullying, especially for this age range of children?
Right now, what we're doing is we're going to focus the elementary. All the counselors are focusing on giving the kids strategies. There's a lot of different strategies. We give them a sheet of it. We practice. We do we call it lights, camera, action, where they get to role play. Mm-hmm. One of their favorites, and again, it's not the one they should use all the time, but one of their favorites is called Out Craze the Crazies. What that means is a student, comes up to them and says, I think you're ugly. The out crazy response would be something that's kind of off the wall, something totally out there. So the kid could look at them and say, I like bananas. Then that person that said that, they might be like, we kind of want to almost stop it. We want to completely stop the bullying where you take them off guard and they're like, okay, that's enough for me. I'm out of here. Yeah. But we're teaching them things to stop it, not to get mad, to stay calm, and then use a strategy.
I know bullying really hits home for most people. So how do you think a student's emotional state affects his or her learning?
I think a great deal. Whether it is being picked on or whether it's an issue at home, whatever it is, it's going to affect their learning because they're going to have a hard time coming to school focusing on division when other things in their life are not going the way they have planned or the way, something's out of their control.
Mm-hmm. How important do you think counseling is to a student who needs help, especially in school?
I think it's vital. I know these kids, they need someone here to help them. They need to know someone's, again, on their side. Someone's here just to help them with that aspect of their life especially.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think a student should do if they think that they need counseling but they're too scared or too nervous to ask?
Well, I know here, again, in the elementary world, the counselors, we all really try to build a rapport with every single student. We build these relationships where the kids know from day one that we are here for them, that we want them to trust us, and we live that. We go out and we learn things about kids. We're there. We'll drop whatever we can drop to get to those kids so they know that we're here for them. And it's kind of silly, but when kids leave Covington, I tell them, you can come back anytime. And I know the other counselors are the same way. Come back to us. We are here for you. I don't care if you're 35, Yeah. If I'm still here, you can come back and talk to me.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's it for my questions. Thank you for having us today.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And, yeah.